Hi everybody, this is Joe Naney, you're watching Ashdown TV. We're going to look now at one of Ashdown's new amps. It's in the dual tube preamp series. It's the 550 Spider. Now this amp has got two ECC82 valves in its preamp section that we'll touch on a little bit later. But to start off, to run through the front panel of the amp, you've got your inputs here, low for passive instruments, high for active instruments, you've got your effect send and return. EQ is primarily controlled with these three rotary controls here for bass, middle and treble. You've got the input gain and obviously master output there as well. So yeah, straight out of the box with everything set flat, with all the Ashdown stuff, you've got a really great usable tone. Plenty of bass, plenty of clarity. Sounds really nice. Okay, so moving on to the EQ section of the amp, really simple, really easy to use. You've got your rotary controls here for middle, bass and treble, and it's important to note with this amp that it has a passive EQ system, and basically what that means is the changes that you make with the rotary controls, the amp compensates for as well. So if you were to up the bass a lot, then some of the mids would be increased as well. If you were to cut out a lot of the middle, then some of the low mids would increase. And that's really helpful because it means that you can make pretty drastic changes with the amp, but it also means that you don't end up with big peaks and troughs within your sound, which can often happen. The other great thing about it is as well that with very few changes you can get a really good sound that works with all kinds of different playing. I mean, for instance, just to take the bass up, increase the treble a bit and cut some of the mid, gives you a sound that works with everything. I mean, it's great for slap. You've got a great deep rich finger sound if that's what you need, and you've got a more sort of poppy funky sort of sound, again without making any changes to the EQ. But it's also really dynamic in that it brings out great harmonics through your sound. You could solo with this sound, you could bring in chords and really melodic playing, and it makes everything sing really well, Okay, so moving on to the switches that you see below the rotary controls, you've got a mid shift, bass shift and a bright switch. Now the shift controls are pretty much self-explanatory. When you engage the mid shift, that takes the middle frequencies that the rotary control is controlling and moves those up a little bit. So if you were to engage that, it gives you that slightly more mid-orientated tone, that makes it a little bit nastier, a bit more honky, if you will. Again, moving on to the bass shift control, that's much the same. You've got the bass frequencies that are being taken down a notch, so you get a bit more of a deep sound with it, And then last of all, the bright switch, which, does exactly what it says. It just adds a little bit of brightness to your sound and just gives you that little bit of extra treble over the top. not forgetting the tubes, you've got the input gain here, and you can really drive the tubes with that. So if you take the master down a little bit and stick the gain way up, then that's applying a lot more voltage to the input tubes, and so you get some really nice sort of distortions out of that, you know, nice crunchy overdriven type tone, you know, with the amp being pushed that little bit more, and you can really hear the difference when you turn it up, you know. Okay, so that was the 550 Spider from Ashdown's dual tube preamp series. You've been watching Ashdown TV. I hope to see you next time.